My dad worked for Shell Oil for a long time.
Hmm.
No. Just one more time.
What's oil now?
I think it's under around $30 a barrel, but of course it was up around 100 there.
Yeah, well, it was down at 28 something a couple of days ago. Well, I don't know. I've got a few shares of Chevron.
Yes. Yeah, I have mixed feelings working with them. In some ways, they are probably the best oil company, and they treated me really good, and they have a lot of experienced geologists. On the other hand, see, I'm not going to record this. Well, maybe I am already. But, you know, there's a lot of management, a lot of just game playing in these corporations, and, you know, sometimes you wonder how they do it. So, you know, you met a mixture of people. I met some real assholes, and then I met the greatest hardworking people. You know, some people just go to work, I think, just to play games. You know, they think that it's kind of some kind of a game, and I'll get to the top by playing games. And then some people go, if I work hard, I'll get to the top. And I always preferred the people that worked hard.
Sure.
You know, I just don't have time for it, yeah. And so then, the quick story about how I hooked up with all these veterans was, I used to go up to Mount Diablo not every year, but say every couple of years I'd go up to see the Pearl Harbor guys. And really like kind of hanging around them, but I didn't want to bug them. You know, there's quite a few of them at the time. And then they kind of started, you know, to be fewer and fewer. Then I met one, and I had my camera, and I was kind of semi-retired, and I thought, I'll just have him stand next to his family and tell his story, you know, the quick story about Pearl Harbor. And there was something about having his family standing next to it that made it so much more meaningful, noble, or something, because let's face it, Diz, you know this better than I do, but from all the 40, 50 guys I've interviewed, first of all, every one of them had a wife for a long time. But the second thing about them is, you know, they're brave and everything, but man, nobody likes war, right, Diz? Nobody thinks that's a smart idea, right, Diz?
Right.
Yeah, you know, and here you are, one of the, you know, greatest guys to ever be out there in World War II. You know, of course, there are a lot of hundreds of thousands of you guys, but, you know, but then just to hear something like that, I think that's really why I keep doing this. Is it's really not about killing Japanese or killing Germans, or it's not even really even about Nazis and Americans, even though that really is important. It really is important that we believe in freedom, and they just didn't. You know, that was important. But it's more important that you came back home, that you raised a family. That's really what you did in life, right? I mean, that's really your biggest accomplishment is your family, and your wife and all. So anyway, I guess I am rolling here, Diz. So you're mic'd up. It sounds pretty good. I'm just going to sit back here, and maybe you could just go ahead and talk about what it was like to be on the first jet squadron. There'll be a touch overlap because I know we've heard, you know, that you were on one of those first squadrons. But then, yeah, let's just keep going from there. It'd be great. Sure, Diz. Yeah. Thank you.
I guess whatever you'd like to start, you could, I guess, pick it up 1947, and you're going to get assigned to the jet squadron.
Well, I reported in that jet squadron in August 47. Had about 22 or 23 pilots.
Let's stop it right here. Is that okay, Denise?
Almost all of them were combat experienced. And most of them were pretty damn nice people. Our first, well, I think when I checked in, they only had about 4 or 5 airplanes. And I guess at any one time there weren't more than 2 2 of them that were in commission. And we didn't get very much flight time. And I got lucky, and about 1st of October, somehow they got an invitation or whatever it was that we had four pilots that were to go down to Air Force Base in, where the hell was it? Down in the south anyway. And the Air Force was holding a big exercise down there. And it had people and airplanes from all over the states. And fortunately, we got asked to send reps, and our group commander, who was really a great guy, I don't know if he picked the 4 or whether our squadron commander did, but anyway, there were 2 lieutenants, me being one of them, a lieutenant commander, and our air group commander, who was a commander. Well, I don't know how I got separated from them, but the others went straight down to the airfield where this exercise was being held. And I was behind, and all of a sudden I went down to Langley to get checked out in the P-80. So I was there just a few days, got a few flights, and then I went on down to join the rest of them. And we stayed there about a month, almost a month, and the exercise was over. And the fighter guys, whose home base was up here at down there rather, at Riverside was the name of that base. Anyway, I got to know those guys pretty well, and they said, hey, we're going to go on another exercise. We're going from here to Eglin, down in Florida, and we'll be there 2 or 3 weeks on this other exercise. You want to go with us? And I said, sure, I'd love to go. So we flew the airplanes down to Eglin, and where we flew in this other exercise. And finally that exercise completed, and they were going to the jets were going to fly home to Riverside, and they said, hey, how about flying one of our airplanes back home for us? And I said, oh, I'd love to. So I wrote my air group commander a short note, fired it off to him, and I said, unless otherwise directed, I'm going to fly one of these airplanes back back to California for these guys, and I know I've been gone for well over a month, but I figure you'll let me know if you don't want me to go. So time came to go. I hadn't heard from him, so off I went. Flew one of them back to California, and got there, and they said, "How would you like to go to Alaska?" And I said, "Gee, I'd love to do that. What's going on?" He said, "Well, we have to go up there and stand alert flights at Fairbanks, and it'll be about about a 3 or 4 week trip." And I said, "Geez, that'd be great. I don't know whether I should or not." I said, "I haven't heard a word from my group commander." And I wrote him a note and told him I was coming here, but he never answered me, and he hadn't sent any messages. And I said, I haven't been paid ever since I left home. I owe money to almost every pilot in the squadron, and I said, I probably better turn that down and go to get back home. I send some money out there to these guys I owe it to. And so I hitched a ride back to Rhode Island, went up to see my group commander, and he said, "What are you doing back here?" I said, "Well, I was afraid you'd be all whizzed off at me because I kept extending and not coming home." And he says, I can't use all the words he used, but he made some loud noises with bad words in it, and said, "God damn it," he says, "you wrote me a note and you said, unless otherwise directed, you were going to go do this thing." And he said, "You haven't heard from me, have you? I didn't otherwise direct you, did I?" I said, "No, sir." And God damn it, he said, "I didn't give a damn if you never came back." But anyway, he and I became pretty good friends. But at least I got in some jet time, because at the time that thing went down, we had only about 5 or 6 airplanes. We had 22 pilots or so, and
What were you flying, Diz?
this was the Phantom 1.
Thank you.
And so each pilot, well, we couldn't, the availability of the airplanes was really low. We were having a heck of a time keeping them in commission. And I think the first 4 or 5 months, 6 months I was in that squadron, I averaged about 3 to 4 hours a month of flying time. And that was about what everybody got, because we didn't have the availability of airplanes. So that time I was gone, I got about 40 hours in the